The days are numbered. Hudson going back into afternoons. Nikki returning from parts unknown to rejoin the riot. But first, Hudson and I wish to spend time with you and each other.
Yeah.
Celebrating what we're thankful for. Which is why tomorrow on the show, the Hudson Thanksgiving.
I'm going to be thankful for my time on the riot.
There's something very good, Hudson.
Thankful that I can go back to sleeping a regular amount of time.
Thankful that we can have White Castle to eat on the show tomorrow.
Exactly, yeah.
So if you haven't yet, you should definitely take some time, go to facebook.com/RadioU.
Yep.
And you want to make sure you don't miss out on our taste test /food fight. And you know what? We're going to do it live at like 6:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Eastern.
Thanks, Hudson. But if you feel like you missed it, don't worry. We'll archive it. So it'll be on our YouTube channel or just there on Facebook as well.
Yeah. So that's what's tomorrow.
Right.
But what about today?
Today in the podcast, we talk about cake. And we also talk about what if the whole idea of us doing the Thanksgiving thing led to us discussing what would we build a Thanksgiving meal out of if we had to do it with fast food. What else did we get into in the show today? What did you talk about?
Let's see.
We talk about the election.
Of course we do.
Of course.
Yeah.
I guess that's a thing. I don't remember what else.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, if you want to know
it'll
the
be
truth,
a surprise.
We haven't built the podcast yet.
No.
We're going to build it after this. So,
I don't want to say something that we talked about that's not going to be in there. So,
well, you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Remember to stop by and see us on Facebook. I also love to hear from people on Twitter if that's a thing for you. So tweet at us at RadioU, or you can find Hudson and I both riot.radiou.com. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.
Send your complaints regarding that worst of the riot moment to fireobadiah@radiou.com.
Now, many people, when asked what's the most important thing about yesterday, we're going to have different answers. Some people are going to talk about a red tsunami or a blue wave or like whatever.
Right.
But I'll tell you what was the most important thing as far as I was concerned yesterday.
Okay.
According to Kellogg's, yesterday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, Thanksgiving Pringles were going to become available to the public for order.
Okay.
It's going to be a limited run.
Yep.
We're only going to have so many.
Uh-huh.
But they were going to be available.
Right.
So I did not get up at 11:59 p.m. yesterday. I had already decided, like, hey, I'm going to get up a little after 4 like I always do.
Yep.
If the Pringles are there, I'm getting them. And if they're gone, well, they're gone. Well, here's what I wasn't prepared for. There is no mention of Thanksgiving Pringles anywhere.
Are you out of your, well, not you out of your mind, but this can't be real.
It's nowhere, Hudson. I've been to the Kellogg shop. I've been to Pringles.com. I've gone to the Pringles Facebook page. I've gone to the Pringles Twitter account. And they have, like their hashtag for Pringles Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It just pulls up stuff from last year. So there's no mention anywhere. So what I can't figure out, and like, again, I'm looking all over Twitter for this.
Yeah.
I cannot figure out if it happened and it's sold out and they just pulled everything down and nobody cares, which, it's very, very possible.
Sure.
Oh, look at this. It looks like okay. Looks like they may have gotten hit pretty hard last night because here's a list. Here's somebody. This is literally the only mention on Twitter I've been able to find. This guy last night at 1 a.m., so this morning at 1 a.m., he was trying to check out for 45 minutes and it didn't work. So, like, their servers were so overloaded with people ordering that they couldn't get their orders through. But he's the only mention that I can find, which is crazy. Like, where?
Yeah. Why would people be so excited? I'm looking at the Kellogg's store from one of the stories, and definitely not even like a tip of the cap.
Yeah.
To the Thanksgiving, like, thanks for stopping by, but there's no Pringles here.
They're sold out, whatever.
Right.
What
Just
happened?
a bunch of Pringles and Honey Smacks socks.
Everybody's focused on who won the House, who won the Senate. I want to know where the Pringles are, man. I came for Pringles. You guys have disappointed me greatly. So I guess the long story short of all of this is, Hudson, we didn't get the Pringles.
We're not getting them.
It's not going to happen. At least,
you know what?
It doesn't appear to be happening.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
You're all right?
I'm all right. They're not even real chips.
They're not?
They're not real chips.
Well, no, aren't they like potato, like reconstituted potatoes or some weird whatever. Okay.
Ever wonder what Nikki is doing when she isn't rioting?
Find her Twitter feed at riot.radiou.com.
Obadiah's is there too, but who cares what he's doing?
How about your voting experience yesterday? How did it go? Hudson, what about you? How was voting?
I was in and out. I was surprised. I thought there would be a line. I thought there'd be a lot of people. But I went to my polling place, showed up, walked right in and voted for everybody I wanted to, and then got out of there.
Yeah, that was pretty much my experience. I'd almost like to tell you that there was some kind of drama involved, but instead I went in, I held the door for someone.
Yep.
I had slightly cordial conversation with whatever.
Right.
Got my little card, did my vote,
got
and
the
that was
sticker.
It. I had to wait. The line was 2 people deep.
I didn't even have to wait for a person.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought it would be really crowded because I went like after 5 o'clock.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been crazy.
After work, but nobody. I mean, there was people there. There was people voting, but they had it's not even like I could say they had a really great setup, where they were just really efficiently in and out, just a constant beehive of activity. There was just a few people there voting. So,
ain't no thing. Yeah. So I got through, it really wasn't, kind of like you said, not really a big deal. Voted. Yeah. You know what they didn't have, though? Nikki always says at her place they always have, candy or cookies. There wasn't any.
Where I voted
candies or cookies
2 years ago, I think they had that. I think it's that's more of a church thing or whatever. Whatever.
I voted at a church?
Yeah, but some churches are just a little nicer. They just take that little step of hospitality.
Put out some cookies.
Hey, remember this? Remember us? This church? You should come back because we have cookies here.
Come to the church.
Don't just come here to vote. You could also get cookies on a Sunday morning, perhaps.
Well, here's what I got for you. It looks like there was a lot of big talk headed into the election this time around. Looks like the Republicans kept the Senate, but they lost the House. The Democrats now in charge of the House of Representatives. I haven't seen, there was a lot of blustery talk headed into the election.
Yeah.
And I said I wasn't even going to be on social media today, but I decided to just take a peek. I don't know. It seems pretty calm out there. It doesn't seem like there was quite as much outrage as I expected this morning.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things where everything, first of all, kind of went, if you were paying attention to it, basically as expected. There was no real surprises. There was no shocks. And since both sides kind of won a little bit, everybody's got something to be happy about. I know the Democrats would have been happier to pick up the Senate.
Sure.
And, of course, the Republicans would have liked to not lose the House. But since you kind of knew that's how it was going to go ahead of time, you can't be too outraged.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's balance. So that's almost part of it. Everybody won something, except for those of us that maybe don't believe in a two-party system. But you know what? Who has time for a discussion like that, right?
Yeah.
Who has time for that
attention
discussion?
to those people?
What a bunch of morons they must be. I will say the other thing that's kind of interesting to watch right now is I haven't seen a whole lot of controversy. There were several races where well-known celebrities were very outspoken, and the candidates they supported lost. That I thought that was interesting. Because most people thought, for example, Taylor Swift in Tennessee was very outspoken for a Democratic candidate who lost.
Right.
And most people assumed that, man, once she gets behind you, she can elect anyone. And that not happening was whoa. That was a surprise to a lot of people. Another thing that's happening in Georgia, the Georgia governor's race is very, very close.
Oh, really?
Typically what happens in a race, when you get to a certain point, someone concedes, and then that's kind of it. But right now, Democrat Stacey Abrams said that she will not concede.
Okay.
And she says that once the absentee ballots are counted, that the governor's race will be close enough. She says they're going to have another election, a runoff, which I don't even... I'll have to tell you, I have no idea what that looks like in the state of Georgia, what they have established for something like that.
Just sounds like a lot of work.
It does sound like a lot of work, but she says she is not giving up. And, of course, this may shock you. Some people are happy, not happy about that choice. So that'll be something that's interesting to stay on top of.
It's the radio equivalent of going to McDonald's and ordering a fish fillet. Hey, that's one of my favorite things from McGee's. The worst worst of the riot on Radio U.
You're listening to two people right now that were Movie Pass customers.
Yes.
When did you quit? Like, how long did you make it?
It was right around the Mission Impossible, like, when the real, what I would say is the mass exodus happened.
Yeah.
Where they wouldn't let anybody see Mission Impossible, and then they kind of just made it where it's like you actually can't see anything at all, no matter what day of the week, or that it was around that time. So sometime in August, I guess.
Okay, I was out in May. The last movie, maybe it was early June, because the last movie that I got to use my Movie Pass for was Avengers.
Okay.
Infinity War.
When they did like the you can't do it twice situation, you can't see the same movie twice situation. That was
no. You know what? That's not it, because I was frustrated by that, because that was the weekend that they were like, hey, you can only see a movie one time.
Yes.
And I had full-on plans to see Infinity War like 3 times.
Yeah, right.
Using Movie Pass.
Man, I've still haven't seen it since the first time.
I've seen it twice now, I think. Maybe 3 times. But the second, I'll tell you what it was. I wanted to see The Equalizer 2.
Okay.
That's what it was. And I couldn't use my Movie Pass. And I was just like, okay, what am I even paying for this thing for?
Yeah, right.
And when they basically said, oh, no, it was like, you can go see The Equalizer at 9 a.m. or 12, or what was it? No, it was 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 showings I was allowed to use it for. I was like, man, I'm out. Just forget it.
On a Wednesday.
So now that we've both ditched Movie Pass, have you looked at any of the other services?
I've considered the AMC one, because we do have a couple AMCs that aren't too far from where we live.
Okay.
And the Cinemia one looks kind of interesting too, and I heard that they did one where it was like $30 a month for a movie every day, or something like that. So that also seems pretty interesting. But I wound up, it didn't seem like, I don't think the way things are right now, I can go quite enough to make either of those worthwhile, although I'd really like to get them. Because if you did go enough, they would still save you money.
Yeah, it's true. Now, Movie Pass, it was that sweet spot. $10 a month, do what you want. It was hard to pass up.
Yeah.
Now, Cinemia just announced they've got a new, like, their cheapest subscription plan.
Yeah.
It's their new one. You can do $4 a month.
Okay.
And it's 1 movie a month. So that's actually not bad. Like $4, 1 movie. Then you go.
How can they afford to do that?
I don't know. I guess they know there are enough people that won't use their 1 ticket that it somehow balances out.
Yeah, and if it's $4 and you don't use it, what's the big deal?
It doesn't seem like a big deal to you, right? But
that adds up.
You figure at $4, you could probably make it once a month.
I'm pretty sure.
Like that's what they're banking on.
Yeah.
That you're sure enough, but they also know you won't go.
Yeah.
And that's how it'll work.
They're tempting me.
It's the gym membership of plans, where if everybody who had a membership to your gym showed up, your gym couldn't handle it.
Right.
But they know that roughly 20% of us are going to go to the gym, and the other 80 just pay for it and feel good about losing the money.
And then cannot cancel no matter how hard they try.
Well, it's not easy. You got to put it in writing 2 months in advance or something ridiculous.
Like it's a lease or something.
It's true. Okay, so other options for them. They've got a $9 a month one that's 3 tickets to any movie. If you go all the way up to their top plan, it's $24 a month. You get 1 ticket to any 2D movie per day.
Okay.
But you can go every day, and you can see the same movie as many times as you want.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, which is roughly what the new AMC one is. In certain states, AMC is taking theirs from $20 a month to $22 a month. Mm-hmm. Which, you know what? Like, if you could use it, that's really not that bad,
especially
right?
considering how expensive AMCs are.
Yeah, and with AMC's, their $22 a month one, you can go to any movie anytime, and you can go as many times as you want.
Buy in advance, you get like discounts on the concessions and stuff like that.
Everything.
They're really trying to draw you in.
Yeah.
And for me, like it's not quite enough. Actually, the Cinemia one at this point, the $4 for
that
one
sounds
movie,
pretty good.
It actually sounds like it could be a deal.
Man, responsibility is killing me. What I really need is I need to quit my job, just find a way to get together $22 a month, and then I can go to the movies as much as I want.
What if you just like reviewed the movies for your job?
And that was the job?
Yeah.
No, I think there's too many people doing that. YouTube's too crowded.
Dang it.
The Riot believes in truth, justice, the American way, and high-speed internet. No, faster. Radio U.
Did you know that it is illegal to hit somebody with a Hot Pocket?
Well, okay. yes and no. Because, okay, wouldn't it technically be illegal for me to probably hit you with anything? So, like, for example, it's probably illegal for me to hit you with my phone.
Maybe.
But, like, is it specific? Like, are there laws on the books that specifically call out a Hot Pocket?
There isn't, but maybe now after this situation there should be.
Okay, all right.
Guy in Casper, Wyoming, Levi Lucero, has been charged with domestic battery after he reportedly hit a woman with a Hot Pocket and burning her with it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because Hot Pockets are, you know.
Hot. Yeah.
It's right there in the name.
It's in the name, and he must have microwaved it. And it's not really specific, I guess, what the dispute was about, but this guy wound up, he threw the Hot Pocket at her and then her friend, and the victim's face, that, like, this is in the police report, was blistering and falling off from the Hot Pocket.
Wait, her face was falling off?
Or
the Hot Pocket was dripping off of her blistered face?
This says
that's an important distinction.
The victim's face was blistering and falling off.
Okay, I just want you to know that at this point, if you're telling me that I can throw a Hot Pocket at someone and both blister and make their face fall off, like, what was that movie where the guy was in the toxic waste and his face is like, like, if you're telling me that's a thing, then honestly, there's a whole new market for Hot Pockets that nobody's exploring.
Yeah.
Weaponized Hot Pockets.
Would be interested.
That's right. Because, like, you know, you've got grenades. Oh, wait, we're totally missing it. All right, you know how Fortnite has that tie-in with the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay, what if in Fortnite now they've got Hot Pocket grenades?
That would be a great tie-in.
It's perfect.
Because when you're playing Fortnite, you need something easily, you know, you hold it in one hand, you can play with the other if you're really good, right? You need something you can snack while you play.
Right.
And you need to be reminded of Hot Pockets while you're playing Fortnite. That would be the great way to tie them in.
Nothing says your favorite free-to-play game where you just purchased an NFL skin like purchasing the all-new Hot Pocket grenade. And then when you throw it, it does two things. It spews, like, it's an area of effect thing. So, like, it spits out pepperoni shrapnel.
Right.
And then it also, what do you call it?
It has, like, a acid chemical effect where
that melts their NFL skin off of them.
Yes.
And they can't have that skin back for like 5. Man, this could really be a thing. Plus, with your purchase of the Hot Pocket skin in Fortnite, you also get a coupon for Hot Pockets
off.
IRL.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, keep in mind, none of that's true. Like, this is just Hudson and I coming up with the perfect marketing opportunity.
And I don't think Fortnite needs a lot of, money-making tips or marketing insights, but I feel like we have something to offer here.
We definitely do.
Want to know what the Riot is doing right now? Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at riot.radiou.com. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
It is the Riot, home of the exclusive Hot Pocket skin. It's not really.
That sounds horrible.
You know, it actually does. Like, bro, your skin feels like a Hot Pocket. That's not a compliment.
No, it is not.
That's not like a compliment.
If you got a Hot Pocket, you pulled it out of the box, and there was nothing inside. It was just like the outside of it.
Just a Hot Pocket skin.
Hot Pocket skin, yeah.
I don't know, but that's like people that eat onion rings, but they take the onions out and they just eat the breading.
Yeah.
And if you think you don't know people like that, I'll bet you do.
You probably do.
I'll bet you do.
I could be a person like that. I'm not saying like I eat the onions most of the time, but
every once in a while.
If it wasn't for society, I might just, leave the onion part on the side.
So you're really just looking for fried bread.
Just looking for the breading, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, hey, Fortnite, the hotness, right?
Of course.
Like, it is like one of the most played games in the world because it's free, et cetera, et cetera. The thing that's funny about Fortnite is Fortnite comes out, and it came out last August, and it was not the game that you know right now.
Right.
They put it in early access. It was like $60 if you wanted to play it. And the idea is that eventually it would become free to play. but it was really like a wave-based zombie shooter. So like you would build a fort, and then these waves of zombies would come in, et cetera, et cetera. I played a ton of Fortnite last August. Nobody cared about it. They did. I'm just like the truth. Nobody cared about Fortnite. Then suddenly it becomes free to play, and they introduce Battle Royale mode. The thing is, Battle Royale mode was really kind of a ripoff because a lot of other games were doing it, but there was one game in particular that was really making it popular. And boy, did Fortnite eat their lunch.
Yes.
Or their Hot Pocket, as it were.
Let us introduce you to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I don't know if it's the OG, but it was a forerunner to Fortnite when it comes to the Battle Royale.
It popularized it, I would say. There were other games that were doing it, but I feel like PUBG was the one that put it on the map.
Yep, and now they're trying to get something back.
Yeah.
So trying to cut into Fortnite's market share, at least on the Xbox One, where Microsoft has made PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds free to download and keep for a limited time only.
So it's not going to be forever.
Not forever, at least not at this point.
But they want you to get in and get it free now.
Yes. Get hooked on it. PUBG, and maybe you'll leave Fortnite behind and go with the forerunner, as we mentioned.
It kind of makes you wonder where they're headed with all this stuff, because they're not the only ones doing that right now. With Blizzard, Activision, if on the PC, they just made Destiny 2 free. You have 2 weeks to claim it, but you can grab it for free. And then the hope, of course, is that, hey, you'll get this base game for free, and then you'll start buying stuff from the store. So like whether it's DLC or skins or like whatever it is that you're going to buy, some emotes, but they're hoping that's the way to make money. And it makes me wonder, is that the future? Like, will it more and more, like right now on phones, of course, you never pay for a game. You just buy stuff.
Yeah.
So is that where console stuff is going? I kind of hope not.
It kind of seems like maybe they are taking the mobile game template and putting that onto video games for your console as well. Just the way things are going. By the way, they also say that Pro Evolution Soccer is free for a limited time.
Oh, yeah, it is. Look at that.
Yeah.
Pro Evo 2019.
I'll probably go try download both of them today and not play them.
Yeah, well, that's the way to go for sure. Yeah. So, all right, free stuff this weekend. If you got an Xbox, PUBG, and the rumor floating is that there will be a similar offer on the PlayStation 4 next month.
Right.
But it's not right now.
Not yet.
The Riot is now accepting applications for a staff pastry chef. Please drop your resumes and an example of your work at the studio door, and we'll get back to you. Wink, wink. The Riot on RadioU.
So we didn't start here. This wasn't my plan.
No.
But Derek was asking if we would eat a Taco Bell Thanksgiving burrito. And all of a sudden that turned into me wondering if I had to do fast food Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like, how would I build that meal?
Yeah. It also raises an interesting point where you could have like a actual Thanksgiving burrito with turkey and potatoes and stuffing like in it. Gravy. You could do that.
Okay.
Never thought about that before.
Hudson, here's Rachel. Rachel has some ideas about what she would do. Rachel, lay out your meal for me.
Sure. Okay. So obviously mashed potatoes and gravy from KFC.
Okay. All right.
As far as the meat, Arby's, I'm sure, like if we did like a roast beef or a roast turkey, I'm sure that'd be really good. And then Long John Silver's, you could probably substitute their hush puppies for like your cornbread. I'm sure you could like do that.
Yeah, but I hate Long John Silver's. I really do.
That's
you
fair.
go in there, you smell like fish for a week. Like,
I mean, this is desperate, so I don't know.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. All right, Rachel, thanks for calling. She's right. I mean, you get desperate, you start going for things. Dan here, he says KFC for chicken.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that, okay.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes and gravy. Oh, so he's like doing everything in one spot.
Oh, yeah.
Chipotle roasted chili corn salsa and chips. Tim Hortons bread bowls soaked in chicken noodle soup for stuffing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's see. Carrie says, take a note from Canada, French fries and poutine, gravy and potatoes. Dude,
yes.
I'll tell you right now, that's something we sadly miss out on the United States.
It is, absolutely.
Poutine is incredible. especially if you get some. Oh man, like that can be an amazing thing.
And even like there are every once in a while you can find a place in the U.S. that does some kind of poutine, but it's never the same.
It's not quite right.
Never Canadian poutine. Absolutely not.
It's true. So Hudson, what's your list look like?
I'm still working it out.
You're compiling it? Okay.
Yeah.
I will tell you, we talked to a couple more people. I love this. Jesse sucking all the fun out of it, but making a good point. Hey, my name's Jesse. Couldn't you just go to Boston Market and get a full Thanksgiving meal? Yes, you could.
But that's not the point.
You could.
That's not the point.
Then Jerome and Andrew both are saying, hey, just go to Arby's and get the Gobbler, which I guess is their deep fried turkey. Have you looked at their lineup of deep fried turkey sandwiches?
I've seen it. It looks really good. And that was actually going to be a punishment Zach and I did. We are considering it like the loser.
That isn't punishment.
The loser has to buy the winner a sandwich. That's a punishment. You have to spend like 10, like it's Arby's. It's probably like $20 for that sandwich.
They are pretty expensive normally. Dude, I think this would be a great, since you and I are having, Hudson and I are having our Thanksgiving meal tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to White Castle. We're getting turkey sliders. We're getting French fried sweet potatoes. And we're going to do that tomorrow morning. Yeah. And you can actually hang with us if you want to see it on Facebook, facebook.com/RadioU. But maybe this is the Thanksgiving meal I have with Nikki. Maybe Nikki and I go ahead and we find our way over to Arby's for one of their deep fried turkey. Man, that looks really good. Like, it looks good.
Yeah.
No.
I was thinking about that, but no, I still want to be more creative with it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. If anybody's got any substitutions, 877-2-RADIO-U. Hudson, I'm going to give you one more song, and then it's the moment of truth.
I'm going to have it. I've got the list more than halfway compiled, but there's a lot of fast food restaurants out there.
Very true.
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
So we're talking about swapping out, like if you had to do a Thanksgiving meal, but you were doing it with fast food.
Yeah.
And my point is that you can actually do it. Like, you can make multiple stops.
Yep.
So you could build a progressive Thanksgiving meal.
Yes.
And people have been sounding off on some ideas, one of which I really like came from, Rachel had cranberry sauce from Panera. Julia sent us a text. She's in Pittsburgh of the Pilgrim. That is a sandwich that you can buy at Get-Go gas stations.
Okay.
That is a turkey sandwich with cranberry sauce, Wisconsin white cheddar, and gravy.
Doesn't sound too bad. I think we have Get-Go's here.
We do, but my thing is there are Get-Go's that are just gas stations, and then there are some that have like a cafe in them, and I think you have to get this at a cafe.
Oh, really?
And there is
then why do they keep playing ads on my Spotify?
That's a good
for
question.
all of their subs every single day.
Well, you can still get, it just depends. Like the Get-Go that's very close to us, I don't think they have any like food. But there's one that's like 5 miles away or whatever, and they have like the whole spread. You can go in there and like order stuff. It's like a whole scene in that place. So just depends on what you're after, I guess.
Well, maybe we should go on a search for the Pilgrim.
Ooh, dude, come on. Now, this came from two places. One, tomorrow morning, Hudson and I are going to be having our Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
2 weeks early, but we're the only ones because Nikki's going to be back on Monday. So Hudson and I have to have our special family time together. And then also, that's happening, and we're doing White Castle.
Right.
And then we also heard from Derek, who began asking us about whether we would eat a Taco Bell Thanksgiving burrito, and that just got us thinking about fast food Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Come
All
on.
right. So are you ready for my spread here?
I'm ready for your breakdown.
You're not going to like it.
That's okay.
Because I'm starting off with Popeye's chicken. Spicy Popeye's chicken.
Well, you're right. You've started out wrong.
But I feel like it's important to have meat on the bone if you're going with chicken. And Popeyes definitely outpaces KFC, so that's why I'm going that route.
What do you mean by outpaces them?
Like it's way better.
Okay.
I think I would be happy with KFC, but if we're making a dream Thanksgiving meal, I'm going with spicy Popeyes chicken.
Hudson, your dream life is impoverished because if your dream fast food chicken is Popeyes, just move on.
Well,
just
move on.
I can't. No. Just move on.
I like Chick-fil-A better, but not for this. Not for this.
All right.
Is all I'm saying.
Okay.
And they probably wouldn't even be open on Thanksgiving.
Probably not.
For potatoes and gravy, I've got an interesting one for you here.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Five Guys fries, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But then I'm going to go to A&W and get cheese curds from there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go to KFC where I'm also going to get my biscuit, but I'm going to get my gravy, just a thing of gravy from KFC, because honestly, I don't know how many places have gravy. That was kind of a tough one to think about.
Here's my idea.
Okay.
Wait, are you done with your lineup? Because I have some.
Well, I've got also, I'm going to combine stuffing and like a vegetable side dish into City Barbecue corn pudding.
Okay, yeah.
And then
that's a
finish
good
it
one.
off with a Burger King ice cream pie for dessert.
All right, that's not bad. See, I think that you can go ahead and do the entire Thanksgiving meal right at McDonald's. Okay.
Oh,
here's what you do.
You're mad at my Popeyes selection?
Yes, I am.
You're going to tell me McDonald's.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take chicken McNuggets. Okay. That's the main course. Who needs deep fried chicken when you can, or deep fried turkey?
Yeah.
When you can have these chicken McNuggets.
Who needs a bone when you can have these fake chicken, substitutes?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Reconstituted chicken. Who doesn't want it? Then for your potato, you just take the French fries and mash them up. Okay. And you know what your gravy is? It's sweet and sour sauce.
Oh, come on.
You just put a sweet and sour sauce on that. You mix it up.
This isn't Thanksgiving.
That's going to be delicious.
You sound like a child.
What?
You sound like a child.
Wait, I'm eating
Thanksgiving. That has very specific tastes. And they're hard to buy for. Like, he's super weird. He only, we try to give him other food, but all he eats is mashed up French fries with sweet and sour sauce.
Perfect. Like that. You know what? That gives me something to be thankful for. And then the great thing is, I'm fairly certain that McDonald's has a pumpkin pie. It's seasonal.
They do.
But a lot of times they'll have that. So I got my pumpkin
that's
pie.
Be good?
Right. Have you ever had one?
McDonald's pies, the
McDonald's pumpkin pie is not bad. I'm not saying it's great, but it's not bad.
I think if you're going to just go to McDonald's, you might as well just turn to the apple pie because it's going to be better than their pumpkin pie.
You know what? I'll tell you what. It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and have both.
All right.
So we'll get a pumpkin pie and an apple pie, and then one of them we're going to keep around as some left. You got to have leftovers.
Sure.
It's Thanksgiving.
You can make a sandwich with the pies.
Fantastic. I love where this whole thing is headed.
Waking up with the Riot makes your nightmares not seem so bad. Actually, you might want to just go back to sleep. RadioU.
Everybody get your hands up and get ready. Okay, we're done now.
I like how when you do it, you almost have like a little flourish.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't just straight clap. You have a little effect to it.
Oh yeah, dude.
You get a little more into it.
It's flair.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what it is. It's flair.
I have to have so much flair. And so
you're meeting at least the minimum requirement for flair.
Absolute minimum requirement for flair. But sometimes I like to go beyond that.
Yeah. And that's the situation.
Do you remember Tex?
Tex
of RadioU fame?
Right.
Okay. Tex. Tex texted me last night, and he was asking me about my Android phone.
Okay.
Now, many of you may not know this, but I spent a whopping, you ready for this? Big spender, $230, which back in the day would have been expensive, I suppose.
Did you get a payment plan for that?
No. I own this phone outright.
Yes.
This phone is mine. It's not on a contract. It's not on an anything.
There are many others like it, but this one is mine.
This one is mine. I will use my phone true. But it is my phone. It's an Android phone. It is the Motorola Moto G6.
Okay.
You know what? It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
It's the best for you?
It is in its class, which is the cheap phone class. It is probably the best.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Like I looked at a bunch of different options. Mm-hmm. This is the one that I went with. I've been very happy with it so far. I mean, I think I've had it for about a month.
Yes.
So I put a case on it. I've got a little glass screen protector, whatever. It's fine.
Nice.
So Tex was asking me, hey, what's your phone? Are you okay with Android, et cetera, et cetera? And so I don't know, listening now, if you're like, hey, I've got an iPhone or I've got an Android phone, but I've got some bad news for you if Android is your option.
Okay. I've got an Android.
Because according to Slick Deals, which is the website that I check that website every single day.
Yeah.
Because that's where, like, if they're like game deals, movie deals, whatever. I go there.
If you can't trust Slick Deals, you can't trust anybody.
Who can you trust?
Yeah.
So they did a survey of 2,000 users, 1,000 Android users and 1,000 iPhone users.
Okay.
And here's what they found. That if you're an iPhone user, you spend roughly twice as much money on clothes, makeup, beauty supplies, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You, on average, earn more than Android users do. And this is if you own an iPhone. Okay. You also have more close friends if you own an iPhone than if you own an Android. You also take more selfies if you're an iPhone owner. And they say that overall, according to self-reported indexes, if you're an iPhone user, you're happier than Android users are. So it sounds to me that categorically, as an iPhone user, your life is better every single area.
Here's where I'm going to flip this around because I think some of it is backwards. And that, like, when you start at the top saying that iPhone users make more money, that right there is reversed. People who make more money get iPhones. Are more likely to have iPhones than Android.
Okay.
Because iPhones are more expensive.
Well, they are way more expensive.
And people in general would probably say, people, you have more money, you're happier.
Okay.
Right? So we're coming at this all wrong. We're saying that the iPhone and the Android are at least the implication of this survey is that it's what's making you happy or determining whether you're happy or not and whether you make money or not. But that's just not simply correct. I feel like it's presented in a misleading way.
So what you're saying is that if you've got a job where you're making more money, you're probably happier. And because you've got more money, you've just gone ahead and bought yourself an iPhone.
Because they're more expensive, but I would also go so far as to say if you make more money, that money might mean less to you, and that's why you're spending it on an iPhone.
That's why you're tossing it on it.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what?
like, hey, I'll just get the one that's expensive. It's got to be the best.
Hey, man, if I'm going to buy a phone, I'm going to spend the money, okay? Yeah, me too.
We sound like two pretty unhappy people right now.
It's just two bitter Android users taking pot shots at the iPhone.
If only we had enough money to buy an iPhone. If only we had an iPhone, we'd have more money. We'd be happier.
Which one happens first? Being happier, having more money, or having an iPhone?
I feel like we're stuck in a cycle of having none.
We're stuck in a cycle of Android.
Once again, there just wasn't enough material for Best of the Riot. Actually, there wasn't any Best of the Riot at all. None. Zero. Look, it's all bad. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not bad. It's the worst. RadioU.
Dude, Hudson, I can't even remember when you said something, but it was like a couple days ago, last week, I don't know, something about Shrek. And you were like, nobody needs more Shrek.
That's
We've
right.
had
We were
enough
talking
Shrek.
about Halloween specials.
Right.
Yes, because surely there's a Shrek Halloween special.
There is. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was on TV this year, but I have seen the Shrek Halloween Festival.
Yeah, Shrek.
Well,
it might not have been on TV because Shrek has kind of run its course.
I definitely saw the Shrek Christmas one because I think Mike Myers is funny.
Halls.
Is that what it was called?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because he was like, I have to make a Christmas. And I thought there was something about that was funny to me. I'm embarrassed to admit.
That's a good impression of Shrek.
Yeah.
Mike Myers.
So, did you see the news about Shrek?
There's news about Shrek.
Did you? Did you for real not see it?
It's not run its course after all.
Are you playing dumb, or do you really not know?
I see that you have a story about Shrek here, but I don't know anything about it.
Shrek's getting a reboot.
What? No.
Yeah, it's real. Shrek and Puss in Boots, they say, are both getting rebooted.
Strong character from the show, from the movie.
Well, he was from Shrek, right? And then he got his own movie?
Yeah, it was Antonio Banderas.
Uh-huh.
He was the cat.
Yep.
I don't think he popped up until Shrek 2, if I remember my Shrek lore correctly.
Man, dude, you roll deep on Shrek
I was
lore.
in on Shrek, yeah.
You were all in on Shrek. So, yeah, Universal Pictures has asked Chris Meledandri, and he's the guy behind the Despicable Me movies,
to
go and They keep using the word reboot, so I don't know if they're actually going to reboot it or if it'll be some kind of continuation, but, new people making it.
Yeah.
He says he wants the original voiced cast, but he hasn't, there are no deals in place.
That doesn't sound, that sounds more like not rebooting and more like sequeling.
That's what I thought,
Which,
too.
to me, that's more acceptable. Shrek is not that old. It's kind of memorable, I think, because of its cast. So if you were to just try to redo Shrek with an entirely different cast, I think that would be, and not too far out from, I guess now it's getting close to 20 years, at least 15 since the first Shrek came out. But
if you're saying Shrek is not that old, 2001.
Wow.
So 17 years. It'll be 19 years probably by the time you actually see a movie.
Right.
Or even 20 years by then. But the last movie, was it Shrek Ever After?
Okay.
2010.
Okay,
so it's been 8 years since you've had a new Shrek movie. 8 years. It's not long enough.
No, not long enough. I don't know. The thing is, I get trying to go back to the Shrek because I think there's a meme culture around Shrek. It's still fresh in people's minds more than some other movies that might have come out from that, like Shark Tale. That hasn't. People don't remember Shark Tale as much.
Don't you think that that didn't take. Shrek took, but there were a bunch of those movies where they were like, hey, we can be just like Pixar, but none of them really none of them stuck.
Shark Tale, that's the only one that even comes to mind right now. But you know what I mean? Shrek, the B movie is from around that time too. That still has a meme culture around it, I think. So if you were to bring that back up, and Jerry Seinfeld is still a big name, I think people would still be into that. But a lot of the other movies of that time, similar type thing, didn't you're right, they didn't catch on as much, and they just aren't as memorable, and people don't have memories tied to them, and still aren't seeing them when they go on YouTube or whatever. So maybe they wouldn't be as likely to reboot those.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that rebooting Shrek's a great idea.
No.
But then again, we all talk about whether or not we're going to like it. It's not about whether you like it.
Right.
It's about whether enough people will pay to see it. Or will pay to buy the keychain.
And it's another thing where the people, it's actually good timing. The people that saw Shrek when they were kids are getting close to aging into that point where they're going to have kids that they could show Shrek to, and it would be a new thing for them. And so, you know what? From a money perspective, it all makes sense.
If you saw Shrek 2 in theaters, there's a really good chance that you either have a kid or you're a year or two away from having one.
Right.
And you'll want them to see Shrek just like you did.
But it's got to be with Mike Myers, though.
There are a lot of reasons to listen to The Riot every morning. For example, give me a minute. There's got to be at least one. It's The Riot on RadioU.
So how about this?
Okay.
Breaking Bad, the movie. How do you feel so far?
Okay.
Not knowing any details.
All right. Okay. So as soon as you say Breaking Bad, the movie, first off, I picture those two guys in the suits on the couch. That's the first image I have. Okay. The second question I have is this a movie in which they just summarize the things that happen in Breaking Bad? So it's 2 hours about a teacher that becomes a meth dealer? Mm-hmm. Or is it a sequel movie? Is it a movie that happens in the middle so that you can have the existing characters? What is it?
Well, right now, details are sparse.
Okay.
But what we know is Vince Gilligan, who is basically
the writer
head
and stuff,
of
right?
everything with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's behind the whole thing.
Okay.
So it's pretty impressive how he's made a career just out of X-Files and then this. And that's the only two things he's ever done, but they've been so good.
Sure.
So he's going to be behind it. There's no real information about when it's taking place or what the cast is going to be or anything like that. There actually isn't even info yet on whether it will be a TV movie or a movie that actually goes to theaters.
The interesting thing about this to me, too, is think about this. You're talking about Breaking Bad. That's AMC.
Yeah.
AMC is also The Walking Dead.
Right.
And what did they announce Sunday night with The Walking Dead?
3, Rick Grimes movies?
Right. So Rick leaves The Walking Dead TV show and they say, hey, we're going to do 3 movies with this character in the Walking Dead universe. And so that means now AMC has announced 4 movies. And I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
Do they put them on TV or do they put them in a theater? They did say, like with the Rick Grimes movies for The Walking Dead, they were like, hey, guys, just to be clear, these aren't going to be out in a month. These are going to be full feature length and feature quality films. What does that end up looking like?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the only other thing they have right now is that the current title, which could be subject to change, is Greenbrier. So I don't know if there's some like super Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul like nerd that might know what
is that?
Yeah, like if that gives you any hints to what it might relate to. But at this point, all we know is that Vince Gilligan is making a feature length Breaking Bad related movie. And you know what? With him being involved, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm in, because I think it's going to be good.
The only thing I think of would be, like, what if it's a movie that takes place between those two series? Because Breaking Bad is Better Call Saul is a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Right.
So what if it's like a tie-in movie?
But how could they do that?
I have no idea.
It really feels like between Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, they're covering all their bases in the Saul to Walter White Chronicles.
Maybe it's the chicken guy.
It could be.
The guy who ran the chicken place?
His history is covered in Better Call Saul too, isn't it? So
I don't know.
Because he's been reintroduced in that, I think it was in the second, it was this new season. I think he was introduced. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. You know what I was thinking is that it could be something about, what's the guy's name? Erman Trout. What's the guy's name? What's the actor?
I don't know.
Bald guy, Jonathan Banks.
Okay.
It could be his character. Maybe it's a prequel for him. Because, I mean, we kind of know some of his story, but he's got a lot of life leading up to when he was in these two shows. So maybe it's something with him. Maybe.
Okay, sure.
That'd be an interesting direction to go. I'm sure he wouldn't be playing himself. It would be a younger actor. But I don't know. That's the only thing that I can conceive of at this point.
At this point, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just know that I am not watching enough TV.
Yeah, you aren't caught up.
No, I'm not caught up on any of this.
I do have to say, Better Call Saul is, I think, the best show on TV, and I'm not caught up on the new season. So,
what about The Rookie?
Cleveland celebrates failure with a parade. We celebrate failure with the worst of the riots.
Okay, Hudson, free cake.
What?
All right, I'll give you some free cake.
Okay.
There's just one thing, a little asterisk, just one little thing here.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
This free cake might. I mean, it is such a small possibility. It's really small, but you might get salmonella from it.
Gonna have to say no.
But I mean, like, your chances are good that could happen anyway. I mean, you don't know. Like, no idea.
Yeah, I don't know if I need cake that badly, though. You know?
It's cake.
You gotta hit me at the time when I really need cake the most.
So what you're saying is I get you hungry, I bring in a cake, and you're really hungry, and you're smelling it, and it's warm, and it looks amazing, and I'm like, by the way, this could, I mean, like, 1 in a million shot here, could contain salmonella, but we don't know.
You could talk me into it.
I mean, technically, we could have that conversation about any food.
Yeah.
I could take you into the break room right now and be like, oh, gosh, that might have salmonella. I don't know. Because technically, I don't know if there's anything in there that has salmonella.
We don't know. People don't wash their hands and stuff. You never know what can happen.
Do you touch a chicken, then you forget to wash your hands?
Yep.
Salmonella.
All the time.
It just gets in there.
All the time.
So Duncan Hines, they're the cake mix people. They're having to issue a recall. 2.4 million boxes of Duncan Hines cake mix. And they say that's because potential salmonella.
Potential salmonella. So maybe somebody out there has got a bunch of Duncan Hines, and they're like, well, I could return this to Duncan Hines for, the recall, or I could just sell it.
See, yeah, I'm thinking about it even a different way. Because if you got to take it in, which, by the way, if your box has an expiration date, and I know you're all running to the pantry, right? But I'll just tell you, March 7th through the 13th, 2019, those boxes are the ones that you got to take back or whatever.
Okay.
So they end up replacing your cake box. But all those cake boxes that come back in, and you work at Duncan Hines, and you're like, hey, free cake box.
Right.
Like, what if? I mean, I realize a cake box is about $1.50, but still.
You put it in the oven and you cook it. It cooks out, right? Why would it not?
Yeah, I mean, come on, right? It's
I
gonna
thought
cook
that's
out.
the whole reason why we cook eggs and stuff. I mean, besides that it makes them taste better, is because it cooks out.
Yeah, it cooks out.
Yeah, it cooks out.
Right? It'll cook out.
It'll cook out.
Well, to be clear, one, Hudson and I don't know that.
No.
And two, I got something else for you. Did you know that the boxed cake industry has been experiencing a 10-year downturn?
What?
That's like, you just talk
Just
about
adding
stuff.
insult to injury.
Talk about stuff you just don't know anything about. Like, man, I don't keep my eyes on the boxed cake industry.
I'm gonna bring that one out next time I'm somewhere. Need a conversation started. Have you noticed the boxed cake industry? It's really been on a downturn lately.
I mean, tell me right now the last time you purchased or you know someone who purchased boxed cake mix.
Some have said that if you just keep listening to The Riot, you'll learn to love them. Has that really worked for anybody yet? Has anyone tested that? It's The Riot on RadioU.
You know, Hudson, this cake thing, I think we went about it all wrong.
What do you mean?
But, we were just talking about the fact that Duncan Hines, they make boxed cakes, right?
Yeah,
boxed cake mixes.
Yeah. So like the cake powder, basically.
Yeah. And you add what, like milk and water and eggs?
Usually
and cake.
it's eggs, oil, and water.
Okay, so no milk.
No milk.
All right, fine. So you got a lot of experience with these boxed cakes.
I do. Hey, I used to make a lot back in the day.
Really?
Well, I mean, like, we always used to have them, and you got to have a cake around the house, so it's not. It's foolproof.
Right
17-year-old Hudson can make a Duncan Hines cake. So 17-year-old Hudson did.
All right. Well, that's good for him. I just want to say that you and I obviously had very different childhoods because we specifically didn't have cakes around the house because fat. So it was like no cakes because I'll eat the cake.
Right.
But you had a lot of siblings too. It was just
we did. It was like, I mean, it's not like we constantly had a cake made, but there was always pretty much the option you could make a cake. And so it wound up happening pretty frequently.
Okay. So, all right. We've established that Hudson knows how to make these cakes and what a cake is.
Yes.
But, or what a Duncan Hines box is. But here's what I was thinking. Okay. What is one of the hardest things in the entire world? You see somebody, they're good looking. You want to talk to them. You want to get to know them. But you're looking for what you're in. And, pickup lines don't really work.
No.
And you also want to make sure that you're not just engaging them on a physical level, like, hey, you're really attractive.
That.
Hey, have coffee with me. Okay. So you need an in that communicates interest, and it also communicates that you're interesting, and that the two of you together could make an interesting combination.
Okay.
At the very least, some decent conversation could take place, which may then lead to a second date, a third date, whatever. Okay. So what if this, all right?
Okay.
You see this girl, you go up to her and you're just like, hey, did you know that the boxed cake industry is on a 10-year decline?
Okay. That's where you were going with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, they won't know what to say at first, probably. Or what if they have a very witty retort and they're just like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then you could talk to them for a minute and you could say, well, you know what? What are you doing later? Would you be interested in reversing the boxed cake decline? Let's bake a cake together. Boom! Okay. Your first date is cake baking. You make some coffee and then you eat the cake that you've baked together.
Okay.
And done.
It's not the worst idea. I think there's some potential there.
No.
See, now, here's...
Don't call it not the worst. Not the worst.
Okay. How about this?
Means that it's on the negative side.
How about this?
That is a good idea.
It's better than most pickup attempts.
Okay.
I would say that for sure.
Okay. So what is your...
I think one problem you might run into is if you're having this conversation when you get to the point where you go, well, how about you and I bake a cake together? That sounds like it could be like a euphemism.
Too much innuendo there?
It could be.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really we really shouldn't make that connection, but I think it would be something that could be interpreted that way.
Okay.
Based on the circumstances. Here's what I was thinking.
Wait. I got it. You go up to her, like high five, like, hey, patty cake. And she'll go, patty cake? And you say, I'm a baker's man. I'm going to bake you a cake as fast as I can.
I kind of like that.
And she's like,
I'm
what?
a baker's man.
And she's like, what? And you're like, well, the boxed cake industry is at an all-time low, and you and I together are going to reverse that industry, creating jobs in America.
Here's something, too, that you're demonstrating value because you're keeping up with the stock market. You know, you're showing that you have some financial acumen, that you know about investments, stocks, portfolios, trading, and that's something that a lot of women are going to find impressive.
We don't know that. Eric says this is going to come off as super weird and slightly creepy. Yeah. I mean, that's the risk you run. But that's the problem. In any kind of romantic setting, it's one of two things. I listened to a guy tell me how this girl kept telling him that he didn't want to go out with her. They're married now, by the way. And so he just kept asking her, and he kept going after her and whatever. And I told him, I was like, you sound like a stalker that was unwilling to take no for an answer. Right. And the only difference was that she liked it. That's the whole difference there. I don't know. I mean, granted, I'm not saying there aren't lines and people are, but I don't know.
Well, maybe
let's bake a cake.
Maybe something you could do, and you're gonna have to invest some more time, but you just kind of hang out near, because you're just saying this like you can go anywhere.
A public oven?
No, I was gonna say near the cake aisle. You just kind of are always constantly perusing the cake aisle. Yeah. Whenever you see somebody that you find attractive and think you might be interested in, you go up and that's a more appropriate, because you could go up to them and say, hey, the cake industry is on a 10-year downturn, and just go from there. It feels less out of nowhere, and it gives you that in.
Okay, I like that. But since you're already in the cake aisle, would this be a chance for you to spin it the other way and say like, oh, hey, make sure that is not expiring between March 3rd and March 9th, 2019, because they just issued a recall.
I don't know if that feels as romantic.
Well, no. But see, you start there, and she's like, wow, that's really interesting. You're like, yeah, I know. Isn't it weird that the cake industry is on a 10-year decline? Yeah. And if she's interested in conversation, you might have a chance.
And the good thing is you're going to find somebody that's interested in cake.
Yeah,
because the problem is, like, when you first brought this up, I was kind of thinking, like, maybe you're talking about having a cake on a stick constantly with you, just in case you run into somebody attractive.
To quote Eric, that's weird and creepy.
that was my initial thought. You just offering cake.
Oh my gosh, you're walking around like, hey, what are you doing? You want to eat some cake? No, that seems normal. It's fine.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
We try to give him other food, but all he eats is mashed up French fries with sweet and sour sauce.